Let's talk about how you know you will fit into Boise. So we're going to look at some major characteristics of the people here in Boise, how you will find community here, and stay for the end where I talk about something that is the most controversial part of living here, but will let you know if you are going to fit right into Boise. In Boise, the people here they're really nice. It's one of my favorite parts of living here is the waves you get, the hey, how's your day going? I know some people, it's actually surprising that when they get here, they're surprised at how people wave and say hi and actually stop and chat with you. You will get to know your neighbors and build that community within your neighborhood itself and know the people around you. There's a really big sense of community here, whether that's with women's groups or your church groups. I know for me personally, the Catholic Church here, my community within those itself is extremely strong. And I know people who move here and that I'm friends with, they say that's not the case in other cities. You have moms groups that will meet once a week and go walk the green belt with their strollers and their kids. Retired groups, there's knitting groups, there's political groups, and you really just have a strong sense of community here. People want you to be a part of it. And it's one of the biggest things that if you're not a nice, friendly person and you don't want community, might be the first sign that you wouldn't fit into Boise. Number two is going to be one that I know everyone's aware of, and that's Idaho loves their guns. Everyone here pretty much has guns. I think if I remember right, it's like 60-something% of people have at least one firearm here in Idaho. And in Boise, that's especially true. You have a ton of shooting ranges. There's indoor shooting ranges. There's all the BLM land to go shoot your guns. You have laws that are much more lenient and more Second Amendment friendly as far as protecting yourself, owning them, buying them. We have open carry laws that you don't need a license to open or concealed carry. And you really just have people here that want that protected. And so if you're some of those people too, you're gonna fit right in. And that goes into hunting as well. You don't necessarily need to love hunting or fishing to be here, but if you do, that's definitely a plus. You're gonna find a lot of people here. There's a lot of hunting companies here. I used to work in that industry, and you have a lot of hunting and outdoor companies that have their businesses centered in Boise. And I always say, if you wanna know more about that, definitely just shoot me a text, because I'm a Boise local. I've hunted and fished my whole life. I actually have a degree in wildlife and fisheries biology. I wanted to be a game warden, and I'm happy to share that information. I know how hard it can be coming to a new city and not knowing the area. And with that, I'm also a real estate agent. I want to help you guys relocate, buy, sell real estate here. But I also want to provide you guys with free information, and I post these videos every week. So be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on everything happening in Boise and to learn, and be sure that you're confident in your move to Boise. Or shoot me a text, an email, a call anytime. Me and my team, we're here to help you and walk you along that path of moving to Boise. We truly want to take the time to get to know you, to find out your goals, and then pick and choose and help you understand where it's going to be best for you and your family, even if that doesn't mean Boise. So thank you for watching, and we'll get right into the third one to know if you fit in, and that is if you have kids or if you want kids. A lot of people in Boise have kids, and a lot of them have a lot of kids, and it's a part of the culture here. It's that conservative living, but it's also just a sense of family friendliness. It goes with the same thing I talked about, where the people here are nice. But if you have or want kids, you will fit right in. There's a ton of stay-at-home moms here, and the homeschooling in Boise, if I remember right, it's some of the top in the country as far as the resources and the people that do it here. So you have a ton of support when it comes to homeschooling or being a stay-at-home mom. Lots of kid-friendly events, places like Jabbers or Jump Time or Discovery Center, museums, the zoo. There's always friendly kid events that are put on throughout the year. And if you want and have kids, you're definitely going to fit right in. Now, I already talked about the hunting and the guns, but number 4 is if you love the outdoors. And of course, that's going to be fishing and hunting, but the biggest thing is going to be your camping, your skiing, your backpacking, your hiking, your snowshoeing. There's a ton of that in Idaho. We obviously have the mountains and the rivers and the beauty of Idaho itself. And if you love to camp, you love to go up to McCall, which is an hour and a half away, and rent a cabin. You have an RV, which is really popular here. A ton of houses have RV bays because it's such a big part of the culture here. the hiking trails in the north end and around downtown, or just the ones that are an hour away. A lot of people love skiing. We have Bogus Basin, which is 20-30 minutes drive in the wintertime. Sun Valley has a ski resort. McCall has a ski resort. You're gonna see ski racks and bike racks, and you will fit right in if that's something that you're looking for as well. There's biking groups that will go out once a week or twice a week, and they'll do bikes together or they'll do hikes together. There's divorce groups and singles groups and men's and women's groups that will meet at Table Rock, or they'll meet at Camel's Back and they'll go for a hike up in the mountains. Next is going to be if you like to drink beer or wine. We have the vineyard side of things, so there's a ton of vineyards and wine, especially right around Caldwell, out towards the Snake River. It's a really cool part of the valley where there's 15, 20 different vineyards, but there's obviously 2 or 3 big ones that have events. They have wine tasting, there's concerts in the summer. You also have vineyards in Eagle, and it's a really popular thing to do, especially for you women. I know that moms and women love to do that, and it's a really big thing that they do here. I see it all of the time. And then the breweries here is the other side of things. We have a ton of breweries around downtown. We have some in Meridian. They have breweries where you most of the time you sit outside, and they have yard games for you while you drink a beer or a cider, cornhole. There's one that's being built right now that's actually a membership where you bring your dog to the brewery and you have to be a member. So it's kind of like a dog park mixed with the brewery. And I know a lot of the other breweries here are also very dog friendly. Next is, I know I talked about skiing a little bit, but it's definitely if you like to ski. There is a really big ski community here, snowboard community. We talked about Bogus Basin, that's 20-30 minutes outside of Boise, but it does have quite a few runs. It's not going to be the nicest ski resort ever, and we'll talk about a couple of those here in a second, but it does have sledding, there's snowshoeing, but where the snow is really good and where a lot of people go is up by Tamarack and McCall. McCall also has cross-country skiing, but Tamarack is going to be your more resort style ski slopes. You also have a lot more snow. It's going to be better. There's more opportunity there. And then the same is true for Sun Valley. Sun Valley has 3 different ski resorts there. And both of those are about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Boise. The next one is that you like being healthy. So along the same lines of skiing and being outdoors and going for hikes, Boise has a really active community. There's a ton of active people here. You're going to see a lot of people biking, a lot of people walking and hiking. But there's also gyms everywhere. Idaho Fitness Factory and Axiom, and a ton of CrossFit and small mom and pop gyms throughout the valley. You're gonna have jujitsu. There's a ton of health foods here, whether that's medical care, like functional medicine doctors. You want the Whole Foods or the Trader Joe's. You're gonna have people here, and a lot of them that go down that route of eating healthy. We also have places like an Upgrade Labs, where you have the red light therapy, you have the advanced working out, you have the cryotherapy, and there's a number of places that do that as well with the ice baths, PMF mats. Boise is just going to be a really health conscious, active place, and so if you're someone like that, you're going to find a big community here and you're going to fit right in. The next one is going to be the 4 seasons. We get 4 true seasons. We have really hot summers where it's going to be 100 degrees for a week or a month in the summers, depending on the summer. And then we have cold, dark winters. Not as cold as I think some people might think. It averages around 30-35 degrees here, but it does get dark at around 4:30, and we get inversions in the winter where the clouds get stuck in here and it can be dark during the day as well. And then we also have the fall and the spring. The spring is a little bit colder than the fall, a little bit windier. But both the fall and the spring are my favorite and most people's favorite time of the year, where 70 to 80 degrees. It's awesome to go for hikes. It's awesome to be outside. You can eat out on the patios. And people who love their 4 seasons, that's going to be where you fit right in. We're not going to be California where it's nice all year long, but we're also not going to be Seattle where it rains, or the Midwest where it's really cold, dark winters. We really have a really good balance of all 4 seasons. But number 10 is going to be, you want a smaller town feel. You don't want to live in a big city. Boise has grown, and around downtown, yes, we're a bigger city. We're a more metro area, but we still have a ton of suburbs like Kuna, where I live, Star, Middleton, and Caldwell, or Emmett and Mountain Home, where you have 15 to 35,000 people. You have a really small community, conservative way of living. You're gonna have a small town, the small town people that live there, a couple grocery stores, but you're also still gonna be 15, 20 minutes away from everything that Boise has to offer. So if you want that small town community, you wanna raise your kids in a smaller town while still giving them access to the concerts and the village and Topgolf and everything there is in the valley, these are gonna be great options that Boise has that a lot of times you can't find in other parts of the country. Number 11 is you don't like Californians. Now this is somewhat of a joke, but I promise you, before too long, you will be complaining about the growth of Boise as well. I've seen it where people move here from California, but not just California, other parts of the country. And then after a year or two, all of a sudden they tell me and they're like, yeah, I'm starting to get annoyed. I get frustrated when I see out-of-state plates, because you learn and you grow and you love Boise and you don't want it to change or go to the place that you came from. You're also going to get annoyed by the traffic because of the growth, which leads me right into the next one, and that is being conservative. Now, being conservative, this is one that I do hear a lot. As most of you know, a lot of people in Boise are conservative, and especially in the suburbs, or at least in the suburbs. Many people I am friends with or clients I have worked with are political refugees. That's what a lot of people say, and most Idahoans respect that. If you want your freedoms and everything that Idaho has to offer, you like the guns and the politics here, and you want to keep things that way, you'll fit right in. I have talked before about Idahoans being mad at the people moving here. You can peruse through the comments on some of my videos and see locals commenting and telling people to go back to where they came from. But a lot of that comes from political roots. They're tired of the politics moving in directions they don't like being, because they have seen that change as locals, especially in Boise City itself. So just know that if you are conservative, you will fit right in, especially in the suburbs, which is the key to moving here. And the political side of this is just an honest reality that you need to know about, and I know why a lot of you are actually moving here. But the most important part in the key to moving here is going to be the suburbs and where you should spend the most time learning. So check out this video here where I go through every single suburb and tell you what you need to know so you can decide the best suburbs for you to call home. I rank them in a tier list, and I really think it will be helpful for you. So thank you for watching. I truly appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in person or chatting on the phone here soon.